I'm Rahul Bali, politics reporter for WABE. You're watching the political forum for the candidates running for mayor of Tucker. This is organized by Rough Draft Atlanta. Joining me today is Cathy Cobbs, managing editor for Rough Draft Reporter newspapers, and Delaney Tarr, who is a journalist at SaportaReport. Look, this is not a debate. This is an opportunity for the candidates to introduce themselves to the voters of Tucker, share where they stand on the issues. So we're going to get started by letting the candidates talk for about 30 seconds to introduce themselves. And you'll see a timer on the screen letting you know how much time you have. So let's start off with Ann Lerner. Ann, introduce yourself.
Hey, good afternoon, and thank you to the Rough Draft team for hosting this forum. Tucker's been my home and my priority for almost 30 years, whether as a community volunteer, a civic leader, a key leader in the Cityhood Initiative, or as a council member and your mayor pro tem. I've always brought people together to solve problems and move Tucker forward. I care deeply about our people, our neighborhoods, and our future, and I bring extensive experience, regional relationships, and a proven record for real results.
Thank you so much, Ann. Next up, Beverly Williams. Beverly, take about 30 seconds to introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Beverly Williams. I've been in the community for over 30 years. I'm a military retiree. I'm concerned about the business owners as well as the homeowners. I've been to 85% of the meetings inside of the city council. I've asked a lot of pertinent questions. I do support infrastructure and public safety. Those are the things that we need to be working on currently. I'm an advocate by listening to men and women of all nationality. I am a leader, and I want to lead. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And finally, we're going to hear from Noelle Monfordini. Noelle, take 30,
Thank you.
take 30
Good
seconds.
afternoon. Appreciate that. I'm running for mayor because I believe everyone should have a seat at the table. For years, I've worked with the community to build that connectivity, and I would like to make sure that I can continue that effort. Tucker's strength has always been with its people. As mayor, I want to focus on the basics that matter most: better collaboration with more accessible meetings, continuous improvement in customer service for all of our services, safe neighborhoods, complete streets with walkability and biking. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's get into the questions then. We're going to ask you all a series of 5 questions, which each of you get to answer. The candidates will have 60 seconds to respond to each question. And as we mentioned, there's a timer in the upper corner where you can see how much time you have left. Cathy, you get to ask the first question to everybody. And Cathy, got to unmute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Thank you. Sorry about that. Thank you, candidates, for coming. My question is, when it comes to contentious issues like the debate over pickleball at Tucker Recreation Center, several candidates or several council members and the mayor have clashed publicly regarding allegations of disrespect and calling people out. While healthy debate is always welcome, these interactions seem to cast a negative light on the council as a whole to respect boundaries or to listen to the thoughts of others. What would you do as mayor to ensure that these displays are not aired in such a public forum? Or how would you deal with issues that seem to create a lot of passion?
Let's start off with Beverly. Beverly, why don't you go first there? Take a minute to answer that question.
Yes, I've been at every pickleball conference we've had. The bottom line is we didn't do a good job of communicating with the neighbors when the city council wanted to introduce pickleball. So that was the first mistake. As council members and as the mayor, you did not talk to the members of the residents. You didn't send them an email. You didn't invite them. So that was the first caveat. So you stirred the pot when you did that. So in the future, if anything we do in the future, always notify the residents by email or personally calling them, or go by there on the weekends to let them know what are we going to be putting in place near your back door. But also remember, you do not want things in your back door. So be mindful where you're going to put certain things. That's all. Thank you.
Anne, why don't you take a minute to kind of address what Kathy's asking here?
Sure. The pickleball debate was on top of everybody's mind, but it was more about politics and personalities. And so, more to your question, Cathy, is that we need to work as a team. We may not all agree, but we need to sit at the table and make sure every elected official's voice is heard and respected, and that they are respected for their talents that they bring as individuals to the council as well. I have a very good track record of building consensus well before city council and in my work. And we work through problems, we make tough decisions together. Not everybody will be happy, but everybody will be heard and respected. Also, going back to community engagement, this taught us a lesson that we need to make sure that we hold ourselves accountable just as much as we do the developers, and we run the same type of stringent process so all voices can be heard and people know exactly what is happening near them.
Noelle, would love to have a minute of your time on Kathy's question.
Thank you very much. It all goes down to teams, right? We all have to be one team as we sit on that dais. It's super important. And a lot of the times we're focusing on what we want from the dais and not what the community wants. And sometimes it is the community. It just really depends. But there's always some place that we can meet in the middle. I've been a project manager for over 20 years, and that's what I do is build complex teams that solve complex problems. So if we just always remember we're working towards the same common goal and that we show respect on the dais, I think that's important. Anne and I spent 8 years together and worked just fine. So thank you for that question.
Let's hit our second round of questions. And second round will be started off with a question from Delaney Tarr. Ask your question.
Good afternoon, all. If elected, you will be the second ever mayor in Tucker's history. What would you pull from previous mayor Frank Almond's tenure in office, and what would you change for your proposed term?
Let's start with Noelle this time. Noelle, you're
Sure.
again, a minute of your time on this.
Sure. I can sing the praises of Frank Almond forever. He's done some great work. I like him as a person, and I think he did a great job as a mayor. So he set up some very good foundations for the city of Tucker. A lot of them are through our city charter, so I'd keep all of those. The things that I would expand on is opening up our council meetings to be more accessible to our community so you can attend from your sofa. If you have children at home or things going on, or yeah, everybody's busy, right? But we all want to make sure that we have that participation piece. So I would definitely beef that up a little bit. I'm big on continuous improvement. I think that's a big aspect. So I would like to make sure that our KPIs, our performance indicators for our staff, involve around customer service and how people are responded to when they connect with the city. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Beverly, would love to have a minute of your time on that.
Can you repeat that question for me one more time?
Delaney?
Absolutely. The question is, as the second ever mayor, if elected, what would you pull from Mayor Frank Almond's term, and what would you change for your proposed tenure?
Well, first I would say thank you to the residents for electing me, and I do appreciate it. I will take the time to talk to each of the constituents to get a report card on how Mr. Armond did, and then also do a report card on myself and what he's done. He's done some great things, but we have to focus on public safety as well as infrastructure. That's part of our charter that we should have reviewed and looked at. But as the residents, communication is the key. And as city council members, I would have to ask the city council members on a quarterly basis to have a town hall meeting to meet with your constituents, so that when I do meet with the constituents at my quarterly time, then we'll all be on the same page and I can answer some of those questions. That's what I will put in place as far as the residents and the business owners of Tucker.
Thank you so much. And Anne, we'd love your thoughts on Delaney's question.
Sure. I worked with Mayor Almond hand in hand down at the state capitol to ensure that the community of Tucker stayed together, and we moved through cityhood. 2 years of community engagement to pass that cityhood referendum. And so I saw that his dedication, his commitment, the time he took away from family and business, and I'm forever grateful for that and learned many good leadership lessons from him. I think the first few years of when served on council, along with the mayor, we were into fixing things. We inherited a lot of things that we just needed to fix, and we were heads down in working through those lists. It's now time for us to take the city to the next level. I want to be much more intentional in business recruitment, expanding housing options, investing in our parks, and strengthening our public safety.
This is the debate for the candidates for mayor of Tucker. This is organized by Rough Draft Atlanta. Our next question comes from Cathy Cobbs, who's the managing editor for Rough Draft Reporter newspapers. Cathy, your question for all the candidates.
Thank you. For all the candidates, what is your stand on establishing a dedicated police department for the city of Tucker? And what is your rationale behind a yes or no stance?
So first up in this round is going to be Noelle Monfordini. Noelle, take
Thank
a
you.
minute on this question that we've been hearing. We here at WABE have been covering some of these other conversations we're hearing in some other communities. So love your thoughts on it.
Awesome. So my thoughts are we have an intergovernmental agreement with DeKalb County. We need to look at that first. Lorraine Cochran Johnson is fantastic. So if we can get it down, we've got an 8-minute response time currently. There is a report that went out from the North Lake CID, so that's helpful. If we cannot get that response time down, I would definitely want to go to the community for a referendum. We are going to have some stand-up costs that go along with that. We looked at it probably year 4 and after we started our cityhood, and kind of left it with DeKalb County at that point. But I would be for what the community needs is a safer Tucker. So whatever avenue that is, but I want to make sure that the community is fully involved and fully committed to make sure they want that. It's not going to bring your taxes up. We're paying the same amount to DeKalb now. So all good things, but I'm for making a better, safer Tucker.
And Lerner, we'd love your thoughts on this.
So sure, as the daughter of a career police officer, public safety is the #1 priority. We can't do anything else that we're talking about today or throughout the campaigns unless we feel safe. I've been asked over the past year about this question, and I've said we need solid data, broad community discussion, and thoughtful conversations. And I'm glad that this study gives us a starting point for all 3 of those things. We are experiencing crime beyond Main Street in the headlines. As someone who created our city charter, I know that any decision on a police department would be decided by our residents in a citywide referendum. It's not just as simple as putting it on the ballot, and we would need much more community engagement like we had for cityhood and the public works referendum, which I've led to success. In the short term, we need to look at the current study and sit at the table with DeKalb to ensure zone integrity and many of the other details and concerns like 911 response times and the use of smart technology. I think DeKalb is moving forward with that, but at the end of the day, we need to realize that they can only serve one boss.
And finally, on this question, Beverly Williams, we'd love your thoughts.
The study we had recently regarding standing up a police force, we're currently paying $15.3 or $6 million. I will wonder, why couldn't we take part of that and have a separate 911 call center, or have 2 or 3 people dedicated for that, since we're not able to have a police force at this time. So I will look at the budget that we're currently paying and see how we can negotiate a 911 to facilitate a better response time. Since we don't have a police force at that time. Also, too, we need to look at the dynamics of the crime that's happening. So many of the merchants have cameras, and so I'm not understanding why we're not able to look at those cameras, identify and see how we can fix those problems. We have marshals within our preview. We have police officers. We need to change the way we're scheduling these men and women, and they should be coming into the district between 3 and 12, one group, and then from 12 to 6 in the morning. So we have the resources. I think we need to change how the resources are being allocated. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Coming up next, we're going to hear from Delaney Tarr, her second question. Delaney is from SaportaReport. Your question for the candidates.
Now, many are familiar with the controversial pickleball court proposal that divided residents in Tucker. In fact, it was mentioned mere moments ago, the discourse around it. But where do each of you stand on the addition of pickleball courts, and what is your vision for Tucker's Recreation Center's future, as well as the other city parks?
For this round, let's start with Beverly Williams. Beverly.
I was not happy when pickleball was, I don't mind people playing pickleball, but I was not happy where they want to place the pickleball originally at the rec center. We had a meeting several months ago, and I was about to speak regarding that we have 9 different locations that we can put that pickleball. So with the last study that came out, the best recourse is Henderson Park, according to the study. And I'm happy about that. Some of the pickleball players and some of the council members were still heated over that situation, and I'm not sure why. But I know Morgan Road and the residents are very happy about that. So I don't mind pickleball. I just don't want it in no one's back door. So Henderson Park would be a good place to place it. And also, too, we want to talk to the resident in Henderson Park, too, to see how they feel as well. So remember, we're one team. And we need to ask the residents how they feel about pickleball at Henderson Park as well.
Ann Lerner, would love your thoughts on it.
Sure. I support City Council's decision to move the pickleball courts to Henderson Park, especially after that presentation with that extensive sound mitigation study. I think it's the right thing to do. You know, we talked about earlier in the question, the broader lessons and learnings from this process, holding ourselves accountable, like the developers for community engagement, and maybe looking more comprehensively when we have these capital improvement projects. The bigger issue, which you alluded to, is Tucker continues to grow, and how do we meet the changing needs of our community when it comes to parks and recreation and the arts? I know we all love Tucker Rec Center. It is a older elementary school. We have done a lot of renovation. We are a victim of our own success. We have an excellent parks department, and we are busting at the seams. And I think that's causing a little bit more friction between all the different programs for our students and our seniors, and all of our folks who enjoy that center. So we need to look towards a parks bond referendum to be able to meet the needs of our growing community.
Noelle Monfordini, I'd love your thoughts on everything around pickleball.
Thank you. We need some area for pickleball. There's some places that are inside that would benefit them, because then you can play year round. There are also other recreation activities that we look at. We talked about a parks bond referendum in one of the last forums that we did. Just because pickleball is one of the ones that have floated up to the top because there is some controversy. There's other groups. Some of our seniors would like an indoor pool so they can do their indoor pool activities and stay active. There's a lot of youth that we need to make sure that we're meeting their recreation activities. So I think we need to go back to our Parks Master Plan, look at it, and then let our citizens decide, what we need to do next, whether it's a parks bond to get more things, if it's a new recreation center, wherever that is. But I think the community needs to pull in, and we need to look at those. But we definitely need more opportunities to be able to go out and play within Tucker.
Thank you so much to all of you for those answers. We're getting close to starting to wrap up our forum, this Rough Draft Atlanta forum for Mayor of Tucker. We're going to wrap up here with 60-second closing statements from each of the candidates, and would love to hear from each of you with a closing statement. Let's start with Beverly Williams. Beverly, your closing statement for the voters of Tucker.
I'm not a politician. I'm just a resident who's concerned. And I would like to do this in the right format by including the residents and the business owners, because this is our home. And I want us all to feel comfortable in our home. And I also want us to be safe, but I also want everyone to have a seat at the table to talk about where we need to go in the future. We also need to review that comprehension plan, because the comprehension plan should be based on what the residents for the future, as well as our children, our teenagers. So at the end of the day, this is a team effort, and we need to be a team in anything we do when making decisions when it comes to our homes and our community. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Noelle Monfordini, we'd love to hear your closing statement.
Sure, thank you. And thank you so much for taking the time to doing this for us. I really appreciate it. Tucker has 3 really great candidates for mayor. I would suggest going to everyone's website, checking them out, and because you're going to be voting for the person you'll have for the next 4 to 8 years. Generally, that person carries over the second term. I would be honored to be your mayor. I want to be your voice for Tucker. I want to make sure that you get the things that you need and that you've paid for on your taxes. It's something that I've always been passionate about. I'm deeply concerned that we need to make sure that we get information out to you when we do update our plans. I want to make sure that we have a larger population base that puts their input into them. Extremely important. But overall, please check everyone out. Pick the person you want. I think everyone on this board would serve the city very well. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And final statement, Ann Lerner, give us your closing argument to the voters of Tucker.
Sure. Thank you for the opportunity. I want to be Tucker's next mayor because I love Tucker and I believe we're at a pivotal moment. I want to help take our city to the next level with my experience, steady leadership, regional relationships, and collaborative approach. Tucker should always be a place where families feel safe, businesses can thrive, and neighbors can enjoy our shared community spaces. If you'd like to learn more or continue this conversation, it's been a little rapid fire, please reach out. My website is annlerner.com. My email is ann@annlerner.com. Together, we're going to put public safety first, grow our local economy, expand our housing options, and invest in our parks and green space. With your support, we can continue to move Tucker forward together, and I would be honored to earn your vote.
Thank you. Thank you so much to all 3 candidates for Tucker Mayor for joining us. And also thank you to the panelists, Delaney, Tarr, and Cathy Cobbs. That's all we have time for this forum. I want to thank the candidates and the panelists for participating. I want to thank Rough Draft Atlanta for organizing this forum. Early voting begins Tuesday, October the 14th. Election Day is November the 4th. I'm WABE's Rahul Bali. Thank you so much for tuning in.